Okay, and welcome to this demo of EasyDodge. EasyDodge is a custom Photoshop panel that will allow you to selectively darken or lighten certain parts of your image in order to make it more appealing. After installation, you will find EasyDodge under the Window Extensions menu, and you just select EasyDodge. EasyDodge is actually a custom panel that will trigger a number of Photoshop actions that also are in the download. Now, by far the most important part of EasyDodge is this one here, dodging and burning with selections. You may have used different methods of dodging and burning before, which involved in Photoshop painting with brushes, and we still have those, but I'll reserve those for the fine tuning at the end. The power of EasyDodge is in the fact that it lets you move quicker through large selections, through large parts of your image by using really rough selections and then feathering those with a certain feather amount. Now, take for example the man's face. Suppose I want to lighten his face, I will just make a very rough selection of the face. You see I do it really roughly. I could even do it with a mouse. I'm using a Wacom tablet, but I could do it with a mouse, and I will just choose any one of the 4 lightening buttons. They're all the same lightening strength. The difference is just the feather that it will apply to the selection, and that's why I recommend you make the selection without any feathering, because you add the feathering afterwards. So as a general rule of thumb, the larger your selection is, the larger you want the feather value to be in order for it to go unnoticed. So I'll just hit the lighten 250 pixels button, and this will lighten my selection. Now, I find this to be too bright, so what I will do is, since everything is built up as a separate layer, I can actually, if I want, I can tweak the layer, but I have a quick access button here that just will fade the effect to 50%. So that's looking better. Now, I also want to lighten the eyes, specifically the eyes. So what I will do is I will again make a quick selection of the left eye, I mean the camera left eye. I will hold down the Shift key, select the other eye, and now since my selection is a little bit smaller, I won't use the 250 pixel feather, I will use the lighten 75 pixel feather. And I just hit that, and you see immediately I have brightened the eyes. If you want to before and after, since everything is done in independent layers, I can just easily toggle the layer visibility and you will see the effect. Suppose I want to have the effect even stronger, there's a duplicate effect button that will allow me to duplicate the effect even more. Now, this is a little bit over the top to my taste, so I can actually fade the duplicate so that I have like a 1.5 times or the original effect. Now, another thing that is bothering me with the lightning is that the nose is starting to get a little bit too bright, so I will just quickly and roughly select it, again, a matter of seconds, and I will hit the darken key, and after a while you will get really a feel of which pixel value you should take. For example, I'll use 75 pixels in this case. Okay, I have the ear also that's bothering me a little bit. It's too bright, it's too distracting. Your eyes always go to the lightest parts of an image, so I'll select the ear, hit the darken 75 pixels, and that's burned down nicely. I also want to darken the jacket to guide your eyes more towards his face, so I'll quickly select that, hit the darken 250 pixel button. Now the pullover is a little bit too much of the same tone as the jacket, so I'll select that quickly, hit the lighten button, and again we have some contrast between the tone of the pullover and the tone of the jacket. Okay, now suppose I want to add a vignette. I can quickly draw a very rough circle, and then I have the invert selection button, which will invert my selection, and I just hit the darken 75 pixels, 250 pixels button, and I have a nice vignette added to my image. Okay, that's about it for the darkening and lightening part. Now, I also have the same options, but for adding or reducing contrast. Say for example, it's just for argument's sake that I want to increase the contrast of the face. Well, I would just really again roughly select it and then hit the add contrast button, and this will add contrast to the face. Again, this is a little bit over the top for me, so I'll just hit the fade 50% button. In case I really don't like the effect, I can just click the delete active layer button and I will delete the effect again. All of this can of course be done through the layers palette as well. The button just really helped me to move quicker through my workflow. Now, that's about it for the global enhancements. What I will do now is I will quickly use Dodge and Burn single layer to work with very high detail on the eyes. And this just sets up a layer filled with neutral gray in a soft light blending mode, and then the only thing I have to do is choose the right brush size, and I can paint selectively with white to lighten parts of the image and paint with black to darken parts. And I can just use the X key, the X from exchange, to move between lightening and darkening. And that's what the Dodge and Burn single layer does. There's also a Dodge and Burn separate layer. I won't go through it in this demo because it basically does the same thing in a different way. But what I want to show you is the following, and that's the Add Clarity button. Now, there is no such thing as clarity in or a clarity slider in Photoshop like you have in Lightroom, but there's the option to simulate it through these buttons. So hitting the Add Clarity medium, I recommend you use the medium one, and what this will allow you to do is it will allow you to paint with local sharpness in certain parts of the image. Okay, so what the Add Clarity does, it's going to build up the clarity effect, but it's going to immediately hide it with a black layer mask. So in order to reveal it locally, because most of the time this is an effect you want to apply it locally, is you will paint it back in with a white or gray brush in the layer mask that's already targeted by the action. So I will quickly zoom in and I will actually overdo the effect, so I will paint at 100% opacity to get this through the internet, and I'm overdoing it a little bit. So you see what this does, it just adds extra texture to certain areas of your image locally. Typical areas to do this are the eyes, for example, the stubble here, the eyebrows. Now again, using the before and after toggle, you can really see the effect for yourself. And if you want a general before and after, you just Alt or Option click on the bottom layer visibility icon, and that will give you a before and after. And so you see that in just a matter of a couple of clicks and button pressing, we've really changed this picture from this to this.